Hey everyone, and have you ever remembered something from your childhood you thought was a fever dream and then turns out it wasn't? Did someone say fever dream? You must be playing Shellshock! Shellshock on M67 is the game we're looking at today, and what a weird game. It's a Vietnam third-person shooter in where you play as a Vietnam War draftee, and along the way you meet, and as well as lose, people you come across. I'm having a hard time figuring out where to put this one. It kind of jumps all over the place. It doesn't want to be a semi-grounded shooter based in Vietnam where one wrong move can get you killed, either by headshot or traps placed around the area. A video game version of Full Metal Jacket, or does it want to be something along the lines of SOCOM where the focus is stealth and avoiding the enemy? It tries to be both, but So this game came out in 2004 for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Two pretty mixed reviews. Some people liked it, seeing great gameplay, action, while others didn't, citing repetitiveness and boring game design. I'm a little in the middle. Growing up, I played this game quite a bit though, and even finished it in a whole day one time. Not that that's anything big, considering it only took you about 3 hours or so to beat it. And even when I got it again about 3 years ago, I fairly enjoyed my time with it. I thought the environments and levels were pretty good, but now, 3 years later, it's just okay. I might just be burned out from it despite the last time having played it being 2 years ago, but maybe that'll change. So let's get right into it. Starting up, you get a little brief history on Vietnam, narrated by none other than Steve Blum himself. You know, the voice of Killer Croc, Tank Dempsey, Green Goblin, Wolverine, and just about any other character you can think of. Moving past that, you get to the title screen with Who Do You Love Playing, and when I was a kid, I always thought this was the coolest part of the game. So you create your profile and get to choose your character. It doesn't matter though, since you don't get to name him, because he already has a name, Caleb Walker. And also characters don't comment on your appearance either. And the only thing that's different is the nickname that gets put on your helmet. The first level is a pretty good one though. It does what any first level does, introduce you to the game mechanics and stuff. It's pretty weird hearing characters explain game mechanics though. And a few friendly fire incidents and ambushes later, you come across collectibles scattered across the game. You can't view them later though through a menu or trade them in for anything, they're just there to collect. It's an okay feature, but I'm not really going out of my way to find collectibles if I don't already know where they're at though. So later throughout the level, you meet up with Special Forces guys, and they just do the same animation every time. Ramirez, the one who Steve Blum voices, TikTok, who's voiced by Josh Keaton, you know, Spider-Man and Young Revolver Ocelot, and Eyeball, Sniper. I have no idea who he's voiced by. They're pretty cool, I guess. They kind of just blend in, and the one who obviously stands out the most is Ramirez, because he's the one the game focuses on the most. Because when you have Steve Blum in your game, you're gonna want to use Steve Blum. There's also other people in your team too, like O'Brien. I don't know, he's kind of just generic, I guess. You don't really get to know him before he bites dust. Monty, who's a South Vietnamese soldier, short timer. He's obviously a draftee too, since every time you talk to him, he's on the verge of peeing himself and displays paranoia, stating that one day he's gonna get picked off. And Kowalski, voiced none other than...
Right. So don't you move. Don't hurt me. I'll blow your goddamn head off. I said shut up! Shut the fuck up! Yeah! Yeah, look at you now! No more goddamn yelling!
What the hell did you do, Kowalski? You really going psycho?
They gave him the nickname Psycho shortly after. Yeah, he's a bit of a screw loose. You kind of figured that out after the first few seconds of meeting him in the opening. This game has quite a bit of star power behind it. Like I said, Steve Blum, D. Bradley Baker, Josh Keaton, Quentin Flynn, and Jennifer Hill, who voices one of the nurses you can interact with in the med bay. She's also... That's obviously where all the budget went because... Yeah, I don't think that's supposed to happen. Oh, and the VC camp you capture in the first level is turned into a base camp for the US soldiers. The second level is pretty cool. You just traverse through a jungle to get to a village, and it's also the level where the cracks in the war start showing. There's no way around it. After you find the villagers are helping the Viet Cong, you round them all up, and one tries running and you gun them all down a la Platoon. Yeah, this game takes a lot from old Vietnam movies. Anyways, after you beat the mission, you find that some war general named DM, or King Khan, with a C not a K, is terrorizing the locals and soldiers. So you try looking for him, leading to the third mission and the mission everyone who's played this game remembers, the fort mission. This one sticks out obviously. You start out in an open field and head into the jungles, and then another open area that's being guarded by turrets, and then another with turrets, and then the fort itself. This mission is actually pretty fun. There's good cover, atmosphere, and many places you can get ambushed. Well, you make it to the fort and make your way down there where you're told there's a POWs that needs to be rescued.
Oh, thank God.
Here you get hit with the imagery of dead soldiers and rooms where bad things happen. And this game pretty much gets dark at random moments like this. Well, when you get further down, you meet a dying soldier who tells you, well, you just missed King Khan, and now the fort is about to explode. So you escape, and as a kid, I would sometimes get lost in here, and I would always get tense, but now it's rather easy. So after getting out, you were told commands want you to stay for some reconnaissance or something. So then in the fourth mission, you're still at the base, so you get attacked and then are forced to defend the fort, where your squad leader O'Brien and Tompkins are killed. So the special forces guys have to come in to save the day since they're about to be overrun. So the next day you're told you've been chosen for special forces training for some reason, and wow, you're really moving up in the world. You're still in the same fort though, it's just staying out and the path to go down to the basement is closed off. As a kid, I always wanted to go back down there during this part. So you talk to Ramirez, who you come to find out all your squad members respect, and he debriefs you saying you have to destroy some sand pens and free some hostages. You go alone on this one, but Ramirez says he's watching you, even though you don't see him until the end. Now this is where it shifts from a Vietnam-based third-person shooter that's kind of grounded to a stealth game along the lines of SOCOM or Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, you can go loud and not every mission after you're stealth-based, but the game advises you to stay quiet. There's two paths you can take. You could go along the beach line or go through the fields. Even though going down through the beach line, you eventually have to go through the fields anyways, but I guess it's a nice option to have. And it gives off the illusion of choosing your own path, like Crisis. In this mission, if you take the stealth path, you really have to be cautious because the enemy hides in the grass, or even if you're moving through there and you can unknowingly move right in front of an enemy or even trap you didn't even know was there. Here, I wasn't even in the grass and triggered a trap. Twice. Because I tried playing it like Crisis and shooting people off a grassy hill. So, after destroying the sandpans, you return to your boat to find it under attacks. So naturally, you just walk out in the open and get shot in the leg. Overall, it's one of the cooler and more interesting missions of the game, and it makes me want to play Metal Gear Solid 3 or SOCOM. So you wake up and find out your two squad mates, Short Timer and Psycho, have also been chosen for Special Forces training. So in the meantime, while they're off training, you have another solo mission. Ramirez, TikTok, and Eyeball were off during a relief mission when they got ambushed by NVA troopers, the first son of VC Spy, which is now a thing that's present in the game as of this point. So you go rescue them. Again, another stealth mission in the night. Do you see what I mean now when this game kind of jumps around? What, did someone switch out Shellshock with SOCOM? Well, you find them and get back to the village they were just at because Monty is still missing. And hey, wait a minute. This is the same village from the second mission. Where you find Monty is the same spot where you find the weapons cache. Yep. This is the point in the game where mission settings kind of get repeated. You even go down to the same jungle from the second mission to stop villagers from being executed. So complete the mission, and then in the next mission you go back to the same level as the Special Forces training mission. Come on, Shellshock. This time it's in the day, and you're with the Special Forces guys who destroy artillery that's been shooting down aircraft that was not there 2 missions before. This one's kinda just decent. Again, multiple paths, but this is where the game starts slipping. Missions and gameplay start getting a little repetitive, at least for me. You just move way too slow. I don't know if it's the sticks of my PS2 controller, I've had it for about 3 years now, or that the settings are just too stiff. Even with everything turned up, it's not really ideal. Anyways, you destroy the artillery, and the next mission involves rescuing the special forces guys again. Okay, idols. I find this briefing cutscene a little weird because instead of being in the command room, you're in the R&R area, and if you play this game, you know what this area is.
Do you want #1 Funky?
But that doesn't matter since in this mission, you go in full force with an M60. So you rescue Ramirez and them and make your way to the extraction zone only for them to die while covering you so you can escape. Here the game takes a drastic dark shift in tone. So far 5 people you know have been killed, so naturally it starts affecting everybody. And everything becomes about revenge now. In this mission you're looking for DM's listening post as it was given to you by Ramirez in the previous mission. So you find the game it's located in and find out who the VC spy is after some heavy persuasion. And exit the cave into a mansion where Psycho is then killed by a mortar round. So that's now 6 teammates that have died. So you clear out the mansion and find out the VC spy was the mama-san that lives near the base.
Hey, soldier. I no see you before. My name Mama-san. You want good time with girl? I fix for you. My girls live behind camp.
So Monty persuades her to give out the location of DM, and she does, where she is then offed. So now it's only 3 of you guys left out of 9, and no one's particularly too happy with it. So with the information you got out of her, you storm DM's fortress, and this mission particularly mostly takes place in ruins, which is pretty cool. But since almost everyone in your team is dead, it feels kinda empty and quiet, aside from the enemy shooting and yelling at you. So I guess this mission has that going for it. And you also see the remains of a lot of US soldiers that did not have a good time whatsoever. So you get to DM's fortress and he yells some stuff at you, but you end up killing him.
Oh my god!
Hey, why are you guys all... Oof. Yeah, I think my character's lost it. So, with DM being dead, your team is rewarded with a trip to the real-life location of China Lake, but gets shot down on the way there. So you wake up in a rat tunnel and look for the rest of your team, only to find that Short Timer is about to die. Yeah, I didn't like this part as a kid. So when you exit the cave, you're in the R&R area outside base camp. So did the NVA shoot you out of the sky and drag you back to the rat tunnel? Or did they shoot you down as soon as you left? Because in the cutscene it looks like you've been flying for a while. Anyways, you find out from Sergeant Plant, a guy who operates the shooting range, that the NVA and Vietcong have joined forces to destroy the US base camp and kill everyone for revenge for killing DM. So there you are, defending the base, killing Mama-san's girls, and evacuating the nurses. It's pretty cool running around base camp shooting your gun, since before you were only able to shoot your gun at the firing range and shoot your teammates from there. But as the mission goes on, you continue to keep getting barraged with enemies and are about to be overrun and killed until you call for an airstrike to decimate the base in an attempt to kill the invading NVA and VC. So you flee to the command room, an underground bunker that is, and the airstrike arrives and successfully wipes out everyone who's not inside. So the game ends with search and rescue teams arriving, and they find your character sitting down alone when Monty, the only other surviving member of your team, as well as your entire unit who was located at the base, who wasn't already evacuated, goes up to you asking you if you're okay, in which to you say, nope. And the credits play with the song I Don't Want to Go to Vietnam playing in the background, leaving you with a very somber and depressing ending. So that was Shellshock, a pretty depressing game overall. Everyone you come across except for Monty gets killed. I guess it kinda makes sense for the game since Shellshock is an alternative word for PTSD and well, everyone you know dies. And the actions everyone does as the game progresses and more of your team die become more and more questionable. So it's obvious the game is trying to portray the Vietnam War in a much more brutal, violent, and darker way, and Yeah, it does that as you can shoot off limbs, heads, blow people up, and stuff you come across in enemy force isn't too pleasing to see either. But it's not all dark and depressing, as when you walk around base camp, you can talk to your teammates and get their thoughts on either the previous or oncoming missions, or just events in general. Or go to the firing range to choose your weapon and use it in a mission, as well as test it out and get a brief history on the weapon you have, or just thoughts of the game's events from Sergeant Platt. And acts is sort of kinda black market with a guy named Deuce, who you can buy stuff off of like pills, an R&R pass, or a rocket gun. With chits, the game's currency, you get rewarded with after completing a mission, or jumping to a level from the mission select since you always start off at base camp. When I got the rocket gun from Deuce and took it on a mission, it had no bullets in it whatsoever. So on the next mission, I went back to him and said, "Oh, well, I didn't say it would have any ammunition in it." So you get scammed into spending more chits on him just to buy ammo. And I don't think I ever used it though. Speaking of which, I think the best weapons in the game are the M16, M60, and Sten. Since the Sten is the most accurate gun in the game, while the M16 has the most ammo, and the M16 is the M16. The worst definitely is the Greaser. Inaccurate sounds annoying. On the first mission, I always traded out for the M14, which is okay. You'll probably only use this one in the first and second mission, unless you pick up the AK-47. It's another okay one. It's not that accurate and takes a while to kill enemies with. And I never used the shotgun in the game, so... Well, that's Shellshock. Again. Was it good? Was it bad? Well, that depends. I'll say it was pretty decent, and it's a game I think everyone should play at least once. Sure, the controls are a little weird, and the sensitivity can be either too slow or too fast. Glitches are everywhere. You don't really get too attached to the characters either because of how short the game is and how little time you actually get to spend with them. And the frame rate takes hard hit in certain places, and it's not really the best looking or most polished game, and it's probably best played on PC, if only for the better quality and frame rate. And it only sold 900,000 copies, which is a shame because I think the game still has some merit, and it could still be fun at some points, like using the cover and grass. And it even got a sequel. What the?